Entering the atmosphere in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast, live at 8 in the morning. Hopefully you guys aren't up this early unless you're going to your weekly commute. I'm your host, Doominal Crossing, and with me his very special guest. We just had you on for the Omega Metroid Marathon not too long ago, Joey. How are you doing?
Doing good, and I'm very sorry that I didn't tell Andy how long I'd be available for that marathon, so I had to dip rather quickly playing Federation Force. But honestly, anything to keep me from continuing to play that game, because I don't think it's very good. But thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're well. I think after we explained what was going on, he was very understanding. Which, by the way, speaking of which, the child in progress is now a child. We congratulated you a few months ago when that happened, but yeah, I got to give you a congratulations again for that. As stressful as raising a kid can be, I'm sure you are just incredibly elated beyond words that the English dictionary could possibly convey.
Yes, that's certainly a way to put it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's funny because her name is Zelda Rose, but I was expecting more people to be mad at me that I didn't name her Samus, even though we didn't intentionally name her after the video game character. That was just a name idea from my grandpa because his mom's name was Rosella and he wrote down the name Zelda Rose and he didn't even know it was a video game. So Crystal, my wife, was the first one to hear that name and she was like, I love it so much. And I'm like, people are going to think I'm a huge nerd, but they already do anyway. So
yeah,
let's give her that name.
Well, speaking of Zelda, that's actually a perfect segue because I actually did want to give a shout out to another one of Andy's corners over at the Zelda Dungeon. So we just did our marathon for the Trevor Project that we had you on, and then the Zelda Dungeon, they were doing their own marathon, raising money for No Kid Hungry, and their marathon ended last week, which is why we took our break. We wanted to give people a chance to go catch that, and we also just didn't really have anything else on the back burner that we could do at the last second. My goodness, Zelda Dungeon, they pulled up. They raised an incredible $11,839, almost $12K for No Kid Hungry. So a special shout out to all the hosts at Zelda Dungeon, and of course all of you wonderful people who contributed to the 24/7 week-long stream. They were not stopping. You guys pulled up. That was just absolutely incredible to see. So yeah, super happy to see that, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys do next year. That was some incredible stuff, guys.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, they were so close to $11,840 though. So sad. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It could have been something, I guess, but
what a waste. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you were less than $200 away from 12. You couldn't have put a few more donos, guys, really? No, I'm kidding.
Shame on them.
But yeah, before we get into today's main topic, and I've learned to stop saying like, oh, we probably don't have much to say on this. Just doing my solo episode back the last time I had to whip something up, I thought it was going to be 30-40 minutes, and notoriously my solo episode just talking to myself ended up being 2 hours long. So from this point on, I am no longer giving like what I think it's going to be. Joey and I are very tired and up in the morning though, so I would hope that it's going to be within the hour range. Before we get started though, I just kind of want to talk about what we've been up to, because it's been a little bit since I've been on the podcast, been a little bit longer since you've been on the podcast, Joey. And, there's definitely been a lot of other things aside from our main topic happening in the games industry. Probably some more positive things that I want to talk about as well. First and foremost, I visited the Nintendo San Francisco store, and I'm actually wearing one of the Metroid shirts right now that I got there.
the same shirt because my buddies Alan and Joey, they went to the San Francisco store as well. But Alan sent me a video message saying, Joey, I need you to go. If I will buy you something here, if you say on Twitter that the new Donkey Kong design is good. And so I lied and said that the new Donkey Kong design was good, and they got me that same shirt. And it's a very nice shirt, wouldn't you agree?
It's funny because like in online pictures, I actually wasn't a fan of it just because it's plain and bland. But I don't know, you see it in person, and it's just, I feel like part of it is like I'm also just very like more likely to buy something if I see it physically. Like if I'm going to SAC Anime and I see like all the fan made, Metroid merch designs, like if I saw those online, 9 out of 10 times I probably wouldn't buy them. But just seeing them in person, it's just like, nope, here's my money. And I feel like that's kind of the same vibe I got with the Screw Attack logo shirt. Like it definitely looks a lot better in person. Makes me more willing to depart my money from my wallet. In fact, I spent like over $200 at the Nintendo store, so quite a lot of money departing my wallet at that store. I bought this. I bought a Metroid hat. That's in my case, a Yoshi hat that's in my Mario case in the living room. Some really good looking a Mario plate collection that has like this really cool hand-drawn Mario art that I've never seen anywhere else. I bought a water bottle that's over in the case off screen. I bought the pin set that has like all the characters walking that's like at the front door. That's really cool. Wish Samus was walking there too. Maybe after Metroid Prime 4. Probably not, but oh well.
They did for the Nintendo New York store. I went there like a month after Dread came out. It was still like heavily promoting Dread with like new merch. They even had like big cardboard cutouts of the Emmy robots. So I'd like to think the Nintendo San Francisco store, both stores really, will do the same thing. And let me tell you, I did get a Metroid shirt. Like this was back in 2018, so before Dread came out. I got a Metroid shirt from there that was like a 2XL, and I'm a big guy, but for some reason their 2XL was insanely small. Insanely small. So I can't even wear that shirt anymore. I couldn't even wear it when I bought it back in the day, and I was a skinnier lad back then. So yeah, I'm much happier with this Metroid shirt than that last one. So welcome to the Metroid shirt podcast. Very, very titillating episode we have for you today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you want, I could open my closet there. Like half my closet is probably Metroid shirts, and we could just go over. I mean, maybe, you know what? We'll save that for the Patreon episode. How about that, folks?
Let's just do that. Yeah.
Our crazy Patreon folks might actually be into that. But yeah, 2018, I've never visited the New York store. That's definitely on my bucket list. Maybe less of a bucket list now that we have the San Francisco store, but I do want to visit that New York store eventually. Frankly, I'm just grateful that we even have Metroid stuff in the New York store, because I was not expecting that. Yeah, sure, it's a little tiny cubby like off to the side. It's definitely not the main event, but like, it's something. It's also really cool because there's a bunch of what used to be Japanese exclusive merch that they sell there. Like there's a Metroid water bottle. I don't think that you're going to be able to see it on camera. I think my monitor is blocking it just a little bit, but there's like this gold, orange, and red water bottle that's based off like the Japanese Famicom art for Metroid 1. That was I imported that from Japan. But yeah, they sell that in the San Francisco store now. So I think it's really cool that stuff like that is coming overseas. There's also a really cool like Dread wireframe shirt. And the visor glows in the dark. That also used to be Japan exclusive. They carry that in the store now. They didn't have my size though, so I didn't buy that, even though I already have a Japanese shirt. That one fits me for the most part, except for the collar is super tight. So I was hoping I could get a North American one, but they didn't quite have a large size. So, not a huge deal.
And for having the most muscular neck in Sacramento.
Exactly. Yeah. The Giga Chad veiny neck. I'm preparing that for SAC Anime, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, Nintendo San Francisco store was really cool. I also so actually the reason I was in San Francisco was because me and some of my college friends in Monterey, we met up in San Francisco to watch Superman in IMAX, which is purportedly the third largest screen in America, and My goodness, watching Peak on a Peak screen was well, it was peak. Um, we're not going to talk about Superman too much today. Like, I'm sure most people watching have probably seen it by now. It's a couple weeks old, but my goodness, that is. I don't know if I'm going to say it's my favorite movie of the year. I really, really loved Sinners, but like Superman came a lot closer to Sinners than I could have possibly imagined. And that's coming from like a diehard James Gunn fan. Yeah, Superman was awesome. Nintendo New York was awesome. Also went to Amoeba, got some music there, so that was pretty cool. But otherwise, in terms of actual video games, you know, we were talking about this before we recorded. July has kind of been insane when it comes to releases, at least for like my gaming tastes. The Tony Hawk remix.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, I was like, what other July games are there? Because the only one I'm aware of is Donkey Kong. I've not been like too invested in the new releases for this month. But before I interrupted you, you're already telling me about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Did you buy that on Switch too? That's what I'm wondering.
No, so all of the games I'm talking about I've bought on Steam, are on my PC.
That guy.
Yeah. Hashtag that guy.
PC Master Race.
But yeah, Tony Hawk's 3+4. Not quite as good as Tony Hawk's 1+2. I think that is up there with Metroid Prime Remastered as like one of the best like ports, remasters, etc. of all time. I think Tony Hawk's 1+2 Remastered is just absolutely perfect in what it's trying to do. 3+4, it's not quite as there, but still really, really good. Especially as a Doom fan, because I got the special edition, and with the special edition, you get like a ton of Doom content. You get like the skaters, Doom, the Revenant. You get boards. You get new Doom music, which I think is really awesome. It's like five or six whole new tracks. I wish there was a little bit more, but like I didn't expect to get any music, so I think that's really cool. And yeah, like that core Tony Hawk experience, like it's still intact. Even if I do have a little bit more minor nitpicks than I did with 1+2, at the end of the day, it still succeeds in what it needs to do for the most part. And so I'm having a little bit of fun with that. I had to put it down though, because Shadow Labyrinth also dropped. I think it might have dropped the same day or the day after DK. All three of these next games drop pretty much at the exact same time, but Shadow Labyrinth is our next inspired by Metroid game, so I wanted to get started on that ASAP. And then for those who didn't watch me stream the demo code that Bandai Namco gave us, I had a ton of fun playing that, and I'm having a ton of fun playing the full game as well. I'm still pretty early. It's about an hour and a half in, so I'm not too far into it yet. And a lot of the mechanics that I had in the demo, I haven't unlocked yet in the full game, so that's a really interesting experience. But yeah, that's really good. And then I also bought RoboCop. Have not touched that yet, but I really want to, because the last game was my game of the year in 2023. So very excited to get on that. And then of course, Donkey Kong is weirdly enough the last on my list, but I'm really excited to play that because I actually did play the demo at the San Francisco door, and I thought it sucked. But apparently it is getting... Yeah, I did not enjoy the demo, although it definitely did feel like early game syndrome. And especially after the direct that we saw, I was like, okay, these feel like two separate experiences here. But yeah, it is getting like rave reviews. It looks like it's going to be an early game of the year candidate with Claire Expedition and Death Stranding. Those three games feel like locks at the Game Awards this year. But yeah, I'm very excited to play that and see, what diverges from the demo and why that's resonating so much with people.
I played it. I beat it. It's a 93 out of 100 that I gave it on Commonwealth Realm, and my brutally honest review is what our review series is called. Yeah, it's really good. It's excuse me. My nose was really plugged, so I had to, just make it worse by snorting it all back in my system. But yeah, DK is really good. After I wrote and edited, after I'd made that review, I immediately went back to play more post game stuff. I might put it to the side a bit because the post game is very much it's like Super Mario Odyssey, where there's just way more moons to collect, but now in this case it's the Banandium gems, so those big bananas you collect. It's a really fun time. Yes. Oh my God. You don't understand how much I never get tired of hearing that. I never get tired of hearing that. It's so good. Yeah, but my only gripe with it is that I only have the only I don't really have major problems with this game, just like minor nitpicks, really. Like, like I didn't mention this in the review because I didn't want that smoke, but you and I talked about it. That Donkey Kong design, we are not huge fans of. We're
Oh no, it's
probably
okay. We've so Andy, Dak, and I, we've been very vocal on the podcast. We are not fans of the design. We much prefer the rare design. I will say it's starting to warm up on me, especially like I don't like the way he looks in the game. Like his fur looks very feathery in the game. I think it looks kind of ugly, but like I like his design in like Mario Kart World, and like I don't know, he does make some funny faces. So yeah, I'm starting to warm up to it. I will always prefer the rare design, but I don't hate, I'm not as viscerally opposed to it as I once was.
Oh man, you are a much more mature man than I, sir. Because I would say, I would expect to think like, okay, this design's warming up on me, but no, it never did. I'm just like, this dude looks stupid. He looks so dumb. He looks
It
so.
depends.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying,
I will
like,
never, I will never, you'll have to stop me because I will list all the bad adjectives in the world.
it depends on the face he's making. Like, there are still a couple of faces where I'm just like, that looks like a completely different character. That is not Donkey Kong. And then there's some faces
Yep.
where like, oh, I see, I see the vision here. I actually feel like. And then I'm gonna go back to the Nintendo San Francisco store again, but like they released a bunch of like the hand drawn Mario art style, kind of like the Super NES style, you know what I mean? Where they started doing that with the new Donkey Kong design. I think the new design looks really good in like the hand drawn art style. Like it really does feel like a really cool hybrid of like the classic and new DK. I feel like that's like where especially that new design shines. It just doesn't quite work for me a lot in the 3D space. Depending on what face he makes, there's I don't know. It's a very weird dichotomy.
Yeah, I also think he looks fine in the movie. I feel like the movie design has like a better blend of the rare and the new design. And I know people tell me, but the new design is based more on the original design from the 80s. And I'm like, cool, still sucks. Like,
yeah.
They also tell me the rare designer, Kev Bayless, said this new design's better. And I'm like, cool, he's wrong. Like, I
brought that up on the podcast, and it's
hill.
like I brought that up on the podcast too. It's like, hey, I'm glad he likes the. I frankly, I'm glad that more people are liking the design than not liking the design. I want people to be as happy as possible, and I wish I was there too. But I'm getting there, but I don't think I'm going to be fully there. Quite yet.
I'll never be fully there.
I think the one thing I think I am resentful for is that they erase the original DK Switch icons rather than just like rather than making an add-on. They're just like, nope, this DK never existed. This is the only DK that's ever. I'm like, that rubs me the wrong way, but also I don't know.
I'm sure because they're coming out with Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV this month. I think his original design is still there because it's more or less a Switch 1 port.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine they do that. It's more so just like the Switch icons, but like that would be really best if they went back into like DK Returns HD and then like replace it with the new. That would actually I would riot then.
Seriously.
Anyways, this is a Metroid podcast. Let's talk about some Metroid.
Let's do it.
So it's actually funny because this goes back also 2 weeks ago. I feel like it's been the theme of this episode. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, you know, the game industry sucks right now, but 2 weeks ago, like it really, really, really sucked. And Microsoft announced that they were doing a ton of layoffs. They canceled a ton of projects, including ones that just months ago they were so pumped to show more information on, and then they just completely crapped all over the bed, to put it mildly. Almost said a very, very different word there. And no one no one liked that. the
Everyone
yeah,
disliked that.
the speech XP was just absolutely drowning at that point. And initially, like, I talked on the Discord, like, man, I don't even know what to say. Like we all knew this was gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening, and we're gonna say the same things we always say. Like, man, this sucks. Something's got to change. There's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, and it's just it's depressing. It's bleak. But I did want. I don't know if positive spin is the right word, because there's absolutely nothing positive. Let me make that very clear before I get clipped out of context. But I wanted to, like, put it in perspective with this episode regarding Metroid, because I don't even think I know for a fact you agree, and I think it's a fair case, but, like, the validity of the games industry is at an all-time high, and Metroid is in a very interesting place, because on one hand, I feel like of the three big console manufacturers, I feel like the Nintendo audience is the least receptive towards, the tone of a Metroid game. If you're a Nintendo fan, you're typically, you're typically more interested in, like, very anime looking RPGs or very cutesy looking characters, maybe a little bit of an in between there, but there's definitely a Nintendo type of art style and tone that, like, your average fan is going to be interested in, and Metroid absolutely does not fit that. It's definitely something that would be more in line with the audiences of PlayStation and Xbox, and yet, in spite of that, because Nintendo operates so differently than most other people in the gaming space, I feel like Nintendo is the only company where Metroid can really thrive today, which is very bizarre, but also something I'm grateful of, despite the fact that I'm starving for some more Prime 4 info right now.
Oh man, really though. Like, there's always going to be a huge part of me that majorly resents Nintendo for just not giving the game to Retro Studios from the start, because if they did that, we'd have the game like 3 years ago at this point. But at the very least, like, seeing this news of Perfect Dark being canceled, Everwild being canceled. And apparently the management of Perfect Dark was so bad that demo they showed off last year at the Xbox showcase, they showed this game last year and they canceled it. That's what's crazy to me. But apparently that demo was just a, like, small vertical slice of a concept of the game, not even like ripped from the main game itself. That even if the management of that game was bad, I still don't believe it should have been canceled and that studio should not have been shut down. But now that's just, like, we know, like, what Nintendo did when they saw that the studio they originally got to work on Prime 4, which rumors were that it was Bandai Namco, but we'll never know for sure. Like, instead of just canceling the game that they announced, they just came out and said, yeah, we're going to give this game back to Retro Studios like we should have done. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, that means we have to restart development. So, but even still, vastly prefer that to, the game just being canceled. I almost wonder, like, if this game wasn't announced the way it was, being that title drop, would this game have been canceled? But I still don't think that would have been the case because of the way Nintendo operates. They're so development focused more so than I remember Kiwi talking about this on his podcast. Like, Japanese developers in general are more development focused than marketing focused here in the West. So Nintendo basically just respects their IPs more than Microsoft ever will in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And you even see, and again, not to defend Nintendo, don't get me wrong, as a Nintendo fan, there's nothing I love more than complaining about some Nintendo BS. Like, let me tell you. That being said, in the context of this conversation, like, Yeah, they do, respect their IP a lot more. I think you also see it in just like, even during their financial briefings, like, Sony and especially Microsoft, we can talk about this in a bit, are, they're jumping on the AI train. They are chasing that cow off the end of the cliff. Like they are trying to use that in the absolute worst ways possible. Meanwhile, Nintendo is like very vocally like, not, I don't want to say like vehemently opposing AI, but like they're very clearly setting a boundary of like where it's appropriate to use, and they clearly like are putting an actual value in their workforce that where they're saying like, hey, this workforce, like this talent that we fostered, it's irreplaceable, or if they are, it's by other talent that we really take the time to hone and fine tune. And part of that is you could look at that cynically in some ways, maybe, but like I don't know, I think the way that these major corporations are using AI is far more cynical, and so I don't know, at this rate I'll take anything I can get, I guess.
It's it's not even like AI is like the biggest problem. There's also just like PlayStation chasing live service games.
Yes.
Like nobody's business. And I'm like, cool. So you're gonna like ignore the genre that made you like PlayStation. That's really nice, dude. I wouldn't say flat out ignore, but it's just yeah, it just rubs me the wrong way how both Xbox and PlayStation have been operating this generation, just more focused on monetization than like actual gameplay quality. Meanwhile, here's Nintendo greenlight. People forget that last year they made a new Famicom Detective Club game. Of all things, like the Nintendo clearly is just like I said, they respect their own IP, like so much so. Like I know F-Zero fans are still waiting for a new game, but even still, they got F-Zero 99, and I also know Star Fox fans are waiting for their game as well. I'm not saying they treat every one of their franchises equally, because that's definitely not true, but they clearly like they clearly see things differently. Just like, hey, we already make so much money off of this Switch family. We've been at our most profitable we've ever been in our entire history. Let's greenlight some lesser known games. And it's just like they don't need to throw billions of development dollars at them either. Like I'm sure they're close to did that with Prime 4. I'm sure that game cost a pretty penny to make, especially after that cancellation. But like I said, I don't know how else to say this. They made a new Famicom Detective Club game. That's why I'm not that worried about Metroid Prime 4 as a sales. Like, I still want it to be the best-selling Metroid game. But even if it doesn't wind up being that, I don't think this franchise is going to be dead anytime soon. Because it's clear that Nintendo doesn't see, like sales are important to them, yes. But I don't think they're going to see, oh, this game underperformed, guess we'll never make another game again. That's clearly not how they operate.
Yeah, obviously like sales are a huge factor, but like I feel like more often than not the biggest factor is just one, if a development team is interested, and two, if they have the people to do that. And like obviously sales do play a part of that, because if you a series that is going to be more profitable is going to have more of those people staffed onto it. But I mean, yeah, like, Sakamoto, he's nearing retirement. His dream project was, to do a sequel to Famicom Detective Club, and he was very passionate about it. He found a team to do it, and so Nintendo let him do that. Yeah, and that's
I haven't played that game though, so I might check it out.
Me neither. I want to play the first two first. I originally was going to do that last year, but I just never got around to it, just because I had just moved into my new house, and as you can see, still in the process of moving stuff in.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be done with that by August or September, but we'll see.
27.
Yeah. just in time for Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 edition.
Switch 2 squared. Love it.
Yes. But yeah, these going back to these Microsoft layoffs, and I have to tone police my language here. My like every time we hear news like this, it's pretty infuriating. But there was something especially infuriating about the information. I was about to say the information we got 2 weeks ago. We got even more. We've had even more Microsoft layoffs since then, including from Virtuos, the studio behind the Elder Scrolls 4 remaster, which, again, another example of a game that objectively performed well on every metric, reviewed critically well, sold well. Game Pass subscriptions rose because, like, every single metric you can think of increased, and yet there were still layoffs as a result from that. And like, that's the bleakest part of all this, because, like, even if a game fails, like, it's infuriating to see people get laid off, but, like, at least it makes sense. You see, like, okay, that makes sense. The game underperformed, people lost their jobs. It shouldn't be like this. But, like, there's a logic there. Like, there's absolutely zero logic in, you know, a game succeeding in every metric and people still lose their jobs. Like, you should be getting rewarded. You should be getting a bonus for outperforming, not losing your job, not having to move to another studio, states away and uproot your whole life. It's so disgusting how disposable, the games industry, views, these talented people. And yeah, like it pisses me off, and I wish, and it feels awful because, like, again, as I said earlier, there's literally, like, there's no way to vote with my wallet on this. It is a situation that is completely out of my control. It doesn't matter whether I choose to support a game or not. I have no control on, what Microsoft or Sony, decides to do to their staff. And yeah, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, it enrages me. It really does. And I don't know how this is going to change unless we see, like, a big shift in, like, cultural thinking, because I think the main, like, cause of this is greed. Because how much does the Microsoft CEO give himself a raise every time this freaking happens? It's disgusting. He is a disgusting, awful man. I forgot. Oh, my camera turned off. Hold on 1 second. My PC just shut down after I said that. My Windows PC. But yeah, why is my camera not turning back on? Oh, well, my screen's that's on your end. My screen's black because of. Oh, you were looking stuff up, weren't you?
Yeah. I was while you were doing that. No, you're good. While you were doing that, I just wanted to look up Microsoft's current net worth. So Microsoft is quite literally one of the richest companies in the world, with a market cap of 3.79, not million, not billion, $3.79 trillion. And you're telling me that, they just can't afford it. Poor Microsoft. They're broke. More like broke soft, right? They're just a small little birthday boy. They can't afford, to pay their staff. Poor guys.
Stupid. It makes me so mad. Like that's the number one cause of all this to me, is just the greed of these corporations, of these CEOs who just can't not give themselves a lot of money that they don't freaking need, but I guess they really need that yacht or that private plane. It just pisses me off so much. And that's where, like, Japanese, like, businesses largely differ. Their CEOs, they still make a good amount of money, but it's more like $2 million a year. Like, that's like the max they're allowed to make, because they think they have caps on how much people can make. And that's what we need here. We don't need billionaires. They're useless, and they're a complete waste of, like, just space, and they're hoarding all the wealth. I'm like, yeah, you can call me, like, a radical leftist or whatnot. I don't care. Like, it's just a huge freaking problem that we need to eradicate.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not to say that there are not critiques of Japanese work culture. There absolutely are. I definitely have a lot of things to say, but that's not really what this episode is about. This is more so. This is less so about working conditions, work culture, and more so just, again, like how for-profit companies are operated. And there is a very clear difference, like, not especially with Nintendo, but like you were alluding to, with how a corporation is typically not all the time ran in Japan versus, how a corporation is ran in the US. Absolutely. Yeah. They're definitely but yeah, it's and of course I gotta look who did this, because this person needs to be called out by name.
Yes. Look him up.
Yeah. You see what I'm looking up in the Google bar right now, I think. Where's I can't find his name right now. But anyways, there's this guy. Maybe you can look it up while I give the summary. But shortly after the layoffs were announced, there was this, again, gotta self-censor my language. There was this legal human. You can legally classify him as a human. I don't know if I would, but this person who works at Microsoft, who was like, oh, hey, listen, it sucks that you guys lost your job, but you know what you can do? You can enter a prompt into our AI to counsel you in your job loss, and I'm sure that will help make everything better. And it's like, I am not going to say what I think should happen to this person. TOS. All I will say is, I'm a big fan of the Roblox video game. That's all I will say.
I don't know the person you're talking about. I don't know what to Google to like find their name.
They said it on their LinkedIn. That's why I use LinkedIn in the search term. But yeah, it was a higher up Microsoft employee. And then they use their time where employees are just getting absolutely canned to promote their freaking AI in just the most grotesque, cynical way possible. Like that feels like a RoboCop commercial. Like, unironically, that feels like one of the parody RoboCop commercials that you would see in the film. But like, no, that's real life, and it's like just absolutely insane.
Yeah, like this, we are in the cusp of class warfare with this. I feel like, whatever that looks like, it's just there's such a clear disconnect between these rich bozos and the working class people. And man, I don't want to say any more than that. Like, you already know how my thoughts on what is probably and what needs to happen.
Yeah. Satya Nadella, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, all need to get out of here. I'm sure, obviously, like Satya Nadella, he's the current Microsoft CEO. Most of those decisions are coming out of him, but I'm sorry, Phil, Sarah, Matt, all of those other higher ups, they are absolutely also complicit in all this, even if they do have less control of the situations. And then they absolutely deserve your ire. Like, let me be very clear. Phil Spencer, he's not your gamer best friend. No, he is trying to make a profit just like the rest of them. He is part of the problem.
Wholeheartedly agree.
But yeah, that's mostly what I wanted, because again, like we could probably rant for hours on this, but again, like, I don't have anything new to say on this situation. We're gonna see more layoffs. We're absolutely going to see more Microsoft layoffs. We're gonna see them. I didn't talk about the King situation. That's another we gotta talk about the King situation. So King was recently acquired by Microsoft in the Activision acquisition, because Activision owned King. They're the developers of Candy Crush. And Microsoft tasked a lot of their development team with building new AI, and now that very AI that they were building has replaced the people and Microsoft laid them all again, just like comic book villain Lex Luthor kind of stuff right there. Just absolutely grotesque. I don't know what else to say. This sucks.
makes me want to switch to Mac.
Yeah.
Honestly, hearing that noise, like, I know there's nothing we can do to like boycott this or vote with our wallet or whatever, but I'm just like, it makes me feel gross using a Windows PC now, like knowing that how they treat these people. We need you to make an AI to replace your job. Like, no, that's not okay. That's just freaking awful and terrible.
Well, even then, the way you just said it, like, at least that would be a forefront and honest. Like, hey, we want you to build an AI, and then after you're done building it, we're gonna let you go. This is a contractual position. At least that's upfront and honest. Like, no, they weren't honest. They weren't upfront with that. It was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna task you with this AI, and then surprise, you're out. Bye.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, there's so. Besides the obvious consequences of like losing your job, losing your income, having to relocate, there's also like other severe consequences, like you lose your stock options, which you're banking on with Microsoft, because like your stock options when you work at Microsoft are massive. They're life-changing, but once you're out of the company, you don't get to cash that in. So you lose out on that. There was something else as well, but like but you lose on that. You lose your benefits because for some reason we live in a country where all of your healthcare is tied to your employment. So if you have a family emergency, good luck. That's even more money out of your wallet. It's a broken system, and boy howdy, something should really do something about this.
There is to do about it, except that's all. I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah. And that has been the Omega Metroid pod. I just want to talk about that. And again, I wanted to loosely tie that into, how Nintendo, treats their IP, especially in regards to Metroid Prime 4, because I know I don't know if you've said much about Metroid Prime 4, Joey. You've been, notoriously quiet when it comes to the Metroid Prime 4's release timing. But I mean,
talk about it.
Yeah. But a lot of people on the internet understandably are a little bit impatient when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. It has been 8 years since it was officially announced. The development turmoil has been very publicly documented at this point. But at the end of the day, as painful of a journey as it was to get here, I am eternally grateful, one, that I even got here, because as we saw it in the case of Perfect Dark, Perfect Dark didn't get there. Everwild didn't get there. There's a ton of other unannounced projects that didn't get there. John Romero's game might not get there, although according to him, it sounds like he's reached out to other publishers, and they're negotiating possibly refunding and finishing the game that he was working on. That is one silver lining, I guess, like, because there were reports that his studio shut down after the Microsoft layouts because of how financially tied they were with his current project. But it sounds like the studio is not being shut down, officially stated by him, so that's good. And that the project might even survive under a different publisher. So I hope that eventually sees the light of day. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4, I do not think. Metroid Prime 4 absolutely would not survive under Sony and Microsoft. I don't think the Metroid series would have any life at all under Sony or Microsoft today with the way the games industry works. And
Studios would not be here today. Retro Studios hasn't shipped a new game since 2014. Like, they did Metroid Prime Remastered, but that's not a new game.
Yeah.
They did
the Tropical Freeze Switch port, which technically that sold more than the original Tropical Freeze.
True. That's very true. Yeah. But like, I still don't think any other studio would survive if they were under anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that Retro got to still be around after reportedly just having a bunch of different game ideas and like getting them canceled pretty much. And now they're just back working on Prime 4. Again, I still heavily resent Nintendo for just not giving it to Retro from the start, like they should have back in 2017. But yeah, at least it's not getting canceled. And but dang, but dang, just.
Yeah,
what a
and
sad state of the
and,
industry.
and arguably not only is Retro Studios still alive, they're even bigger now. Like when they got on the Metroid Prime 4 project, like their studio expanded massively, like to the point where like the office buildings were even like expanded and renovated to like actually like be able to fit more people in. And that's in you know, our current climate where like work from home is also an option now, which you have a lot of work from home staff on Retro. And on top of that, you also do have a lot more people working on, working on Metroid Prime 4. Obviously, because, you know, video games nowadays, you know, take a lot more people to develop, so on and so forth. But like, yeah, Retro is arguably in like the best position they've been in. Obviously, we won't know for sure until Prime 4 releases and we actually see like the results of that. But like, it seems like Retro's kind of doing better than ever by all means.
Totally have. Yeah, if they had more staff, you think they would have come out with the game sooner. Oh man,
I mean, didn't you hear, Joey? It's out now.
Oh yes, it's out now. That's the only reason why I know this game's not getting delayed to next year, because of that billboard, you know.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about that. Yeah, game industry sucks. Nintendo, they're not awesome all the time. They're a lot of the time they aren't, but in this one very specific instance, they're pretty all right. And so I'm very happy.
And apparently, like, they're one of the best Japanese companies to work for. Like their staff are treated far better than like other companies treat them. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, Japanese work culture. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on it, but I know like it's definitely, even though they don't lay off their employees, even though like people stay at their jobs more often than they don't, it's still like there's still issues there. So that's all I'll say about that before I pretend to be an armchair expert about a country I've never visited before.
Yeah, I'd rather be an armchair expert on Sony and Microsoft today. That is a different conversation for another day.
Isn't Sony a Japanese company though?
Yeah, technically you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so funny. Like, I still associate them with America because they still have their American division is freaking huge. Their Entertainment America division.
Mm-hmm. It's very bizarre. Like they are technically a Japanese company, but I always think of them as an American company at first. And then I have to like pause. And it's like, wait, hold up. But yeah, Joey, I don't really have much else to say about this.
You like froze for a second when you said "hold up." It was so funny. I wish, but
I hope that works on the actual video that I'm recording now. That would be absolutely perfect. Maybe that's something I can edit if not. But yeah, Joey, I've pretty much said my whole piece at this point. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. We're approaching just about the hour mark right now, so I think we're about ready to wrap things up here.
Yeah, I just want to know, when are we going to see that Prime 4 release date, man? Are we going to see it in this rumored July Nintendo Direct coming at the end of the month, supposedly? So that's what I want to know. So I absolutely believe that's happening because Nate the Hate says it's happening, and Nate has been on just an absolutely unstoppable roll lately. Yeah. Like he's just been absolutely knocking it out of the park the past couple of years. He's usually been hit or miss. He was reporting on Switch Pro for a long time, and that never happened. But lately, to be scary. To be fair, everyone was reporting, like even Bloomberg, Jason Schreier was reporting on Switch Pro, and so I feel like that was just like kind of. I don't know what the story is with Switch Pro. I almost feel like there was a little bit of validity to that, and plans fell through. But obviously, we'll never fully know the whole story behind that. But yeah. I definitely believe in the July Direct. I don't know what kind of Direct, and Nate doesn't know either. So he specifically said, like, I don't know if it's a general, I don't know if it's a partner, I don't know if it's game specific, I don't know the context. I just know that there is
some direct happening in July after Donkey Kong Bonanza, and that he predicts it will be the last week of July because that just makes the most sense to him. Which I'm inclined to agree with. I feel like you don't want to do a direct the week after Donkey Kong.
I gotta feel like it's a general direct, or at the very least a partner direct, because Gamescom is happening next month, and Nintendo's going to be at Gamescom, and I feel like they gotta get some information out on their upcoming releases. So,
I definitely,
really
I'm gonna try to temper. I'm tempering my expectations and gonna say that it's a partner direct. If it is a general direct, heck yeah, let's go! Cannot wait to see some more Metroid Prime 4K footage, but yeah, I'm just gonna go in just expecting a partner, and hey, worst case scenario, it's a partner. Then I'll get my September birthday general direct for sure. Right?
Oh man, I need that release date sooner than later, man. It's just like they have a 2025 like release window, but we're already over halfway through 2025. Like, where is that date? Like, come on. Like, Nintendo, you've been torturing me with this game for 8 years. Like, you showed it to me when I was a wee babe in diapers, and like, why would you show me something if I can't have it? Like,
it's actually funny. So the Metroid Prime 4 was revealed literally like a couple months before I went off to college, and now I've been graduated for 2 years, and like, we're finally here.
There are people who are literal children when that game was announced who have graduated college at this point. Like, oh my God, I know.
Both of your, I was gonna say, both of your kids were not born when Metroid Prime 4 was announced.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my kids is driving already. So it's just like,
I'm calling the police.
So yeah, great for Nintendo for not canceling the game, but that should be bare minimum we should expect from these companies. It's just like, God, that's how not to announce a game. I cannot stress enough. That's how you don't announce a game. Props to them for being transparent with us and saying we need to restart development. But my God, don't ever do that again, Nintendo. Jesus.
To be fair, I think Nintendo agrees. They're like, "Yep, this was awful. This is a mistake. Let's never do this again. This was a catastrophe."
So, like, why couldn't they have made that mistake with a different game and not the game I've been wanting for half my life? Like,
Nintendo, why are you not 100% catering to me? This is a hate crime.
It is. I am the victim of a hate crime. I hate it.
Yeah. I need to watch The Office again. It's been too long.
It's been 2 months. It's been 2 days. I need to rewatch The Office.
But yeah, I'm sure, because there's like a bunch of stuff that's coming out this year. Like, we still don't know the date for Splatoon Raiders. There's Kirby Air Riders. There's Hyrule Warriors. I'm pretty sure Splatoon Raiders hasn't been confirmed for this year, but that feels like something that's releasing this year. Hyrule Warriors and Kirby are definitely coming out this year, and those also need to be dated. So I'm sure we're going to get that direct inevitably, because it's not just Metroid Prime 4 that needs to be dated. There's a few different big titles. Yep. I definitely think Prime 4 is going to be the big holiday title, though. It's definitely feeling like that to me at this point. Although I did think it was going to be a launch title, so who knows what's going to happen at this point.
So crazy how like, where everyone's so confident in stuff, and then Nintendo's just like, JK, lol. Like, we were all confident that there was going to be a 3D Mario game announced for Switch 2 at this point. Here's Donkey Kong. We all thought Prime 4 was going to be a Switch 2 launch title. Nope.
I am. To be fair, I was, and of all the things that I was confident on in Metroid Prime 4, the big thing that I was like, that I like hammered home, like, this will be on the Switch 2, and there will be noticeable enhancements day on date with the Switch 1 version. That was like the big one that I was like, no, I am sticking to that 100%. And so I'm very happy that I got that right, at least, because I think that would have been an absolutely insane fumble of gargantuan proportions to have missed out on that opportunity. That being said, little off topic before we head off, I am very curious what the state of 3D Mario is, because now we know now for sure that like the Odyssey team is fully behind Donkey Kong Bonanza. So where does this leave 3D Mario? Is there a different studio that's working on 3D Mario, and we'll see that like in the next year or two? Is that their next project, and that's something we're going to see like in the middle or the end of the Switch 2 life? I genuinely have no idea. That would be, regardless which scenario you go, it's kind of unprecedented because Super Mario, like technically the studios themselves have changed over the years, but like that development team has largely stayed the same. Obviously, you have staff, coming and going as, they get trained for the position, but like that team of people, as it's grown, has largely stayed the same when it comes to 3D Mario. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where 3D Mario where 3D Mario goes to here. I really don't know what I think it could be either way, where we see it next year under a new team, or we do see it at the end of the Switch life and it's still being done by EPD.
I gotta think it's being done by a different team. It's weird how Nintendo, it's weird how Nintendo operates on their studios, their teams, because like I think they're all under Nintendo EPD. So they don't work in the traditional sense. They've got like multiple teams at like different studios. I'm still not fully sure how it all works, but
yeah,
I don't think Koizumi was involved in DK Bonanza that much, and I know he's the. I don't know if he was the direct.
No, I want to say that was Motakura who was on DK Bonanza.
Yeah, so I don't know if Koizumi is still responsible for Mario. His position's probably changed ever since, but yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think they won't make us wait like too long for the next 3D Mario game, especially since it's been how many years? Almost 8 since Mario Odyssey. So I'm not sure where we're gonna go there.
I will say, and I don't know if I believe this, but Nintendo Software Technology, which is an American studio working under Nintendo, they are responsible for games such as Metroid Prime Hunters and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. They had a bit of a lengthy gap between their Wii U Mario and Donkey Kong release and their initial Switch release, but then all of a sudden they started hammering out like a bunch of projects. They did the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. They did F-Zero 99, and arguably most importantly of all, they were a support developer on Bowser's Fury, the expansion to the 3D World Switch port, and they were working in collaboration with a smaller team from EPD on Bowser's Fury, including James. Oh, why can I not remember your last name? He was one of the composers on Metroid Prime Hunter. He also helped compose with Daisuke Matsuoka on Bowser's Fury. And they both did an absolutely killer job, by the way. But yeah, NST had a pretty large hand in supporting Bowser's Fury, and I almost wonder if that was like a test run for NST fully developing a 3D Mario, which is very bizarre to say because they have not handled anything of the scale of a 3D Mario, and like they've like pretty historically been sandbagged by Nintendo following the release of Metroid Prime Hunters, if you know a lot of the financial stories about the creation of that game. So it would be very bizarre to see them like lead a 3D Mario game, but I also
so cool.
But I also
be here for that.
But yeah, like with the way with some of the evidence that's lying in front of this, I'm not gonna bet money on it by any means. I don't even think it's likely. I also don't think it's a 0% chance either, which is pretty wild to say.
I would love to see that. Like an American studio, Next Level Games, handled Luigi's Mansion. What was it, 3? And
one of the best games on Switch.
Oh, seriously, and then one of the worst games on Switch, Super Mario Strikers, or Mario Strikers Battle League. So
I'm not gonna say one of the worst games on Switch, but my God, that game was so disappointing. I want to believe that wasn't Next Level's fault. I want to say that's a Nintendo mandate because all the Mario sports games on the Switch have been super underwhelming. Tennis Aces was all right, like, but yeah, just golf and Strikers were just such disappointments. Unbelievable. That's aside from Metroid Prime 4, that's like what I really want to see on the Switch too. I want to see good Nintendo sports games again, because like in the GameCube era, those were like some of my favorite releases, man. I played the hell out of Mario Power Tennis Strikers, Mario Baseball. Like, those games were so much fun. And, you know, I didn't play as much on the Wii, but like those were still like really quality releases. But then they just, for the most part, outside of like Mario Golf on the 3DS, they lost the sauce after that, and they haven't gotten it back, and that's really disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Make Mario sports games great again. Like, let's
Yes.
just do that.
A rare great again I can actually support. Oh my gosh!
I felt
Now
so
Joe.
dirty saying that.
Honestly, the first thing that that popped out to me was that Splitgate 2 developer hat. That's the first thing that.
Oh my god, that killed the game. That game's doing bad now.
It literally killed the game. That's actually insane.
Yes, exactly. Good lord. It's one of the times where it's best to just shut up and let people just play your game and pretend you're not an insufferable person.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, we said we were gonna end the episode about 10 minutes ago. I think it's time to actually end the episode for real on God, no cap. So yeah, that's the Omega Metroid podcast today. F the games industry. Go Nintendo, I guess. Can't wait to play Metroid Prime 4. I don't know, Joey, is there any last words that you want to say before we head out today?
Any last words? And I'm just like, tell my family I love them. I hope we see that Prime 4 release date soon, but you know, I'm just used to disappointment with that game, so we'll see.
Yeah, in that case, we're going to be signing off today. Before we go into our socials, I got to shout out Joey's socials. If you're not following him already, to quote Reggie Fils-Aimé, what's wrong with you? You can follow him on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ferris Wheel Pro. You can follow him both on his personal YouTube channel and kind of going full circle back at Commonwealth Realm. You know, you love to see the circle of life at play there. So yeah, you can follow him and his content at Commonwealth Realm as well. And you can follow Commonwealth Realm on their socials as well at Commonwealth Realm 2. And as for us, you can follow us at Omega Metroid Pod. You can follow me at Doominal Cross, both on Blue Sky and Twitter. You can follow Andy Spiteri at Spiteri316 and Dakota Lasky at Dax City _. That's our episode for today. Actually, no, that's not our episode. We got more things to plug. We got a website. We have walkthroughs. We have news articles. Not a lot of news happening right now, but I have a feeling that news is going to start popping up eventually. But in the meantime, you can still read about those Nintendo Switch icons, which, of course, I purchased all of those with my platinum points. And you can listen to our podcast everywhere. You might be listening to it right now, for all we know. You can listen to it on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Not Google Play anymore. They stopped doing that a year ago. And Podbean. Oh my gosh, we lost Joey again. He's got a black screen. I think that's my cue to sign off. Yeah, this is Xbox Live avatar that's still in the room with us right now.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a Patreon where you can give us money. Some of you are also giving us money right now. Thank you for that. But yeah, Andy will be back next week. I will not, because even though I usually get Monday, Tuesdays off at my new position, I am working next Monday and Tuesday. So we're probably gonna unlock another ROM hack review from our Patreon and post that for you guys next week. But yeah, Andy and we will be back in a couple of weeks, and I can't remember what our next episode is. I gotta check the list again, but rest assured, we got a lot of topics planned out till October, and surely we will have a Metroid Prime 4 release date by then. But yeah, that'll be all of it. That'll be everything we have today, folks. Signing off, and we will see you all next mission.